When I cut the song with Tupac, it was 2 weeks before his passing.
But whose choice was it to not have Tupac's face on here?
Suge Knight at one point was gonna shut the record down. So that's how come I know that Tupac's not alive. The only reason why the song came out was because of Afeni Shakur.
What's the bigger cosign, Babyface or Tupac?
Growing up in high school on White Boy Wednesday, they punch you in the chest, get out my way, white boy.
I read somewhere you worked on a Michael Jackson remix.
Michael and I were managed by the same manager at one point. You know, had the ability to have Nas come through. So I started to expand. That's why I did the record with Beenie Man. I worked with Left Eye as a solo.
And then the artist named Jon B, is that just your name?
No. I remember Mariah, Carey, that was back then when they were still married.
Did you always want to be a singer?
You're my angel, which everybody sings at every show.
Would you put your talent down to a God's gift or the time you're putting in?
The gift can't be anything without refinement.
I saw you recently on the Cadillac show back with Babyface. How was that?
That was super, super dope.
And then you start making beats for, is it Toni Braxton?
The Weeknd just sampled Someone to Love.
That song is not dying. It's not going nowhere. Talk about the new music. How is that?
Well, Waiting on You is the new album. Tank on the album. We've got Donnell Jones on the album, and we've got Rick Ross on the album. Peace, y'all. What's up? This is Jon B here on the Shizzio Show. Keep it locked.
Shizzio bringing it back with the noise. Hoi oi, hoi oi, special MC, I'm back with the joy. Hoi oi, hoi oi, Shizzio bringing it back with the noise. And you bring me love, and you bring me joy. Hoi oi.
Yeah, can we do this? No apologies, think I'm gonna be a nuisance. Way back then was a dead. Okay, we are back, another episode. Love to everybody as per usual, subscribing, following, climbing, hit that button. It's free, man. It don't even cost a damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Forget all that, real special guest in the building. I've had the red carpet out, I've had the rose bearers, you know what I'm saying? Like everything, like this is unbelievable. R&B legend, GOAT status, you know.
Respect.
No, it is GOAT status.
Thank you.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but Jon B is in the building,
Bless
sir.
King, how are you, brother?
I'm very well, you?
I'm well, man.
First things first, you're all black. Either you're coming to do a hit on someone or this is just a cool get up.
Just a cool get up.
Yeah. Are you well, sir?
Yeah, man, I'm blessed, man. Everything is good. I can't complain. We have 2 nights at the Jazz Cafe in
Yes.
Camden Town, and
You're a busy bee.
I'm just, I'm making my rounds with my London family and my England family.
Yeah.
You know, we went to Birmingham, Manchester, and Scotland.
Yeah.
Glasgow, yeah, and just it's been a wonderful time so far.
Come on. Before I do that, I've got to shout out the lovely people in the back because Gabriella's here, Rene's here. Do you want to shout out the lovely lady?
My wife.
Come
yes,
on, we love to see that the way you roll. It's
Yeah.
it's been hard to get you here, but there's been lots of people that have made this happen. So I've got to shout out Friction Late Night Ricky, who put me in touch with a guy called Rory. You won't even know this shit, you know what I'm saying? Who then put me in touch with Gabriella, who's been lovely, by the way, because I have to shout her out because some people, I'll be real, they want to keep the stars to themselves, which I get. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But thank you so much. She's driven down from Birmingham as well.
Yes.
To make sure everything's
Yes.
nice. So I have to give them their
We
flowers.
appreciate
Man.
Gabby and Renee, absolutely.
I have to
Big
give
up.
them their flowers. London, I presume this is not your first time here?
Oh, no. Yeah, we've been coming for many years.
What do you think of this place?
I love London. I love England. I mean, this is where I charge my creative batteries, if you will. You know, a lot of my
Okay.
favorite music comes from England, so it's sort of, I feel like an extended family member. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have English blood, and as far as my genetics. So
Okay.
So, yeah. I mean, this is kind of like home away from home.
Home away from home.
Yeah.
I would like to get a real sense of you, sir, if that's all right, because I am a fan, I can't lie.
Thank
and I would love to know more about the person himself.
Sure,
Do you know what I mean? So can we just have a bit of a background as to your born and raised, sir?
Yeah, I was born in Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island. We lived there till about 4 years old. I was about 4. My dad got a job at Cal State LA in Los Angeles being a music professor and a teacher of music. So we moved to California, and I grew up on the West Coast for the most part, in Pasadena, California.
But can I put a pin in that? Because for us here, Rhode Island, what is that? Can you break that down?
Rhode Island
what
is
is
the
that
East
for us
Coast.
British people? Do you know what I'm saying?
Always be the East Coast, like a little bit near Connecticut, New York City. It's like about
Right.
2 or 3 hours away from New York.
Okay. What is that like growing up there for us?
Well, being that I
London
only
people?
spent 4 years of my life there, I really couldn't tell you. But I'll tell you, growing up on the West Coast, in Los Angeles, is beaches. You know, it's but Pasadena, Altadena, where I grew up, is a very diverse town.
Right.
Which is the reason why I feel like I'm the product of my environment. You know, a lot of R&B, hip hop, a lot of in the '80s. You know, that was sort of it was a meshing of styles, if you will. It's like Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 were happening at the same time. Duran Duran were happening. You know?
Right.
And so the influence is like that for me. You know, I'm kind of like a it's
A melting pot of
absolutely eclectic. You know, is
but that's
what
the best way
word I
to be,
think.
right?
Yeah.
Can I ask why the move from the east to west coast?
My dad got the job with the Cal State LA as a college professor, and my mother's a pianist, and both of them just said, we're gonna
Right.
take the leap.
Right. What is it like for a New York kid changing coasts?
Yeah, well, you're too young at 4 to really know the difference. You
Right.
know what I mean? So for me, it was later on, I feel like I appreciated having the experience of both coasts, because when I came back, it wasn't as much of a shock for me. I feel like when I came back at 18, I was like, oh yeah, I kind of vaguely remember all this.
Right.
Yes.
And then as a kid, are you kind of outside a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, the difference I will say between growing up on the East Coast and growing up on the West is just the weather, really. The
Right.
weather is really the big deal.
Yeah.
It's lots of sunny weather on the California side. And
Yeah.
kind of got everything else on the other side. So,
Right, I hear it. What type of things are you seeing as a kid when you're outside?
Well, if you're talking about the East Coast, then you're talking about, we lived in a beach town called Shady Harbor, which was a really beautiful little kind of private beach that we were so blessed enough to kind of find before it became this sort of like gold mine of a place to live.
Right.
Back when it was affordable to live, as they say, So, yeah, we went from that to move into Los Angeles and Pasadena, and we have the mountains behind us in Pasadena, and it's very sort of away from the beach. It was about 45 minutes away from the beach, so. But we kind of had that best of both worlds in Pasadena growing up, as a kid, riding your bike around, getting to looking, to your north, and you see these big giant mountains in the back, the background.
Is it a rough area? Is it a safe area? Build a picture.
Yeah, no. I grew up in I feel like, certain areas of my city were considered rough, but it wasn't anything that was going to scare me away from,
Right.
going and venturing around.
Yeah, but are you
parts.
seeing things that are like perhaps?
I mean, I will say Pasadena is quite mellow of a city. I mean, every city has its problems or whatever, but you go downtown to LA, and LA and all of that south of Pasadena, you're gonna find
I don't know. Tell me, bro.
you're gonna find it's another speed of life, you know what I mean?
Right.
So like, as the life of speed changes, you got to kind of keep your eyes open, you know what I mean? It's just, you don't want to just take the bus and be like, oh, la-di-da, la-di-da,
Right.
you know what I mean? You got to watch your back anywhere you go.
Are you kind of staying in your confines of your area then? Or you
Nah,
venture?
man, I was always stepping outside of my own personal little neighborhood and going into, traveling down to Long Beach and Carson and Compton and LA and South Central and all of it. So, it's, for me, it's never really an issue to go and see my friends wherever they lived, whether it was the ghetto or whatever it was,
Right.
Beverly Hills and the nice, suburban neighborhoods. I mean, to me, it was just about getting to where I needed to be.
But you see, for us in London, right, we've always been painting that picture. Those areas that you're talking about, Compton, those are like no-go areas. Like you just don't go there. If you're not from there, do you get what I'm
For
saying?
the tourists, I wouldn't recommend it. Maybe now I would be. It's far more gentrified now.
Really?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, it's cleaned up. Compton is cleaned up. But my brother-in-law owns a barbershop in Compton, so I'm actually down there quite a bit. Most of the time, he comes to me and cuts my hair, but once in a while, I
Right.
go pull up in the shop.
Right.
and
Yeah,
just.
but you got the
just-
pass to go there, innit?
Yeah, yeah.
I ain't
yeah.
got the pass,
Well,
homie.
you know, I really think that it's not like that though. You know, it's not the '80s. It's not like people are just gonna roll up on
Right.
you and just
So,
bother you.
but in the 80s, they are doing that, and you're still going out
Well,
there.
the '80s we had every reason to sort of like, you know, I would say in Compton it had every reason to feel like that. You know, in the '80s it was a lot more racism than it is now.
Right.
Cops and everything. So
Right.
yeah, it's sort of like protecting your own neighborhood in some senses. And as far as where I lived in Altadena, to have the diversity that we had is tremendously the big contributing factor to how I turned out, you know, as a musician, and
Right.
the style of music that I've, you know, and
Yeah.
my style of speaking, my style of dressing, you know, it's
The swagger.
yeah, it's all influenced by my surroundings, and really the music I think is the most powerful element of that is really just picking up a love for the music and just making it mine. You know what I mean?
School. How are you in school, sir?
School was not for me.
Okay. Pen mic drop. Okay. In what way?
I appreciate the social element of school,
Right.
and that's it.
But the education, the studying, you're not doing any of it.
To me, it doesn't have any relevance for my art. You know what I mean? Other than learning mathematics and the basics of life, you know what I mean? I don't really need to learn his story, you know what I mean? Because it's absolutely just trash to me hearing about all of the histories that we have to hear. There's all lies. It's all just tremendous lies that the kings made up to be able to hand out, you know, indoctrination to the youth, to be able to make us think like they think, you know what I mean? And I'm not one of those people. So I've kind of rebelled in every sense against that, you know, that establishment. I mean, if I was doing what people in a sense wanted me to do, I don't think I would be here. If I was severely educated like some of us are, I don't feel like I'd be in the seat that I'm in, the creative seat that I'm in.
But you see, the outlook you share is when you're grown up and you can look back and say that. But when you're young and you're going through it, do you have that same mindset, or are you just not learning because you don't want to learn?
Oh, I learned, but you learn what? You learn someone's plan to indoctrinate you into what they want you to do. I want you to become an office worker. I want you to work at this factory.
Yeah.
I want you to do this. I want you to do that. But when it comes to like emancipating someone, letting them feel their own power, their own energy, I was told I wasn't going to amount to anything in school.
Right.
But I still came back to the same school that told me I was going to be anything, with platinum records and Grammy nominations, and worked with Tupac Shakur and Jay-Z and Nas and
You tell them, baby.
and
You tell
everybody
them.
else, and they want to honor me now, you know, in their school, and they want to, you know, give me honors and you know, flowers for sticking it through. Although probably I almost got kicked out a couple of times. You know, so yeah, it's an ironic thing. You grow up having absolute hatred for school, and then you get out of it, and it's kind of like you have to tell your kids, it's all right, you'll get through it. It's all right. It's just a couple more years, baby. I promise.
Right.
You know?
When they call you back, do you actually go back and do all that, or
Yeah.
do you just think, F you guys? You get me?
No,
you
we
lot
go
fronted
back.
on me.
We go back. I mean,
Yeah.
we just did this actually. It was the 40th anniversary of my arts high school that I went to in Los Angeles, and I'm very appreciative of the art factor of that. I was able to join the gospel choir
Amazing.
in the school, and through gospel choir, I felt that's where I really started to excel as a vocalist.
Right.
Yeah, being around other vocalists that can just sing, you know, it's like that's the best way to kind of grow, I feel, is live vicariously through others, you know, and pick up the skills that sort of like rub off on, you know.
So in school, that's your first kind of taste of music.
Yeah.
The choir.
Yeah.
And you just want to do it. There's just a switch in you, like, I want to do the singing thing.
Yeah, I mean, being that I loved R&B music and hip hop and stuff, I feel like gospel choir was the unknown factor for me. You know, how do people learn how to sing like that? You know, first of all, if you're a Johnny Gill, you know, and how did you grow up knowing that type of music? How did you learn to vocalize like that? And the answer to that is usually the church.
Right.
Usually the church, the gospel church, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I had that curiosity, and man, it was an awesome thing to go to school every day and look forward to, you know, getting to sing a solo in gospel choir and having the kids push you, be like, you better sing from your chest. You know what I mean? And not, not this little tiny voice. I came in with a little tiny voice. I was like, sing all smooth, and they're like, okay, that's cool and everything stylistically, but what about projecting? Do you know how to project? I was like, not so much. So
How old are you when you start the choir?
probably about 15, 16.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And prior to that, did you always want to be a singer?
Yeah, I always wanted to be a singer.
Yeah.
I mean, growing up in Altadena, we had a lot of talent shows and a lot of opportunities to share your talent. So as I got better, I entered the, junior high school, talent show, and was able to actually win the talent show best vocalist. The judges were an R&B group from Pasadena called Troop. I don't know if you know who Troop is, but they had a great song back in the day called "Spread My Wings." And it's a very inspirational kind of record where it's talking about spread my wings and fly away, believing in your dreams,
Right.
And as a kid hearing that song, we sort of, that was sort of like our anthem for how we felt, as youngins coming up and wanted to, aspire to become that same thing,
Yeah.
So yeah, the talent shows was sort of like the beginning of like performing in front of people and whatnot. So the fact that Troop was there to judge me and said, okay, he's kind of good. All right, well, we'll mark down our little scores. And at the end of the thing,
What did you win?
I won first place.
What is that? Cash prize? What is it?
No, just first.
Record deal? What is it, man?
Well, they did offer an opportunity to be on what was a big American Idol-esque kind of show back in the day called Star Search.
Right.
In the 80s, it was called Star Search.
Yeah.
With all of the different talents that would come through, and then you'd probably get a record deal if you won from Star Search.
Right.
But my dad wasn't having any of that.
Why?
And so, it's too young. How
old was you?
I was 16. So
Right.
at the time, I felt like still had a little bit more growing to do
Okay.
and maturing to do. But at 18, man, he wasn't telling me no more.
Right.
When I turned 18, I was a senior in high school, actually, and a little bit older than the kids in my grade. So I was able to write myself out of class legally.
Oh, okay, right.
And say, I'm going to go shop my record deal today. And everyone's going, oh, record deal, whatever, and I'm going, okay. So I came back at the end of the year, and I said to everyone, I've gotten a record deal. And everyone was like, what do you mean you got a record deal? I was like, well, you'll see. In about a year, you'll see. It's not going to happen for a year, but in a year, you'll see. So in a year passed, I came back, my record's out.
Right, hold on, you're going too fast, bro. This is some amazing gems. You're just skimming past them. You can't do that, bro. Relax, bro, relax. Okay, hold on. Right, so you go choir from 15 years old. So from 15 to 18, it would appear like you're a polished singer.
Yeah, well, I was, growing as a singer. I was actually in a group too. I formed a singing group in high school, harmony singing, and we thought we were Color Me Bad before Color Me Bad.
Yeah.
And then when Color Me Bad came out, we were like, oh God,
They stole us.
We can't do that now,
Yeah.
And so it kind of pushed me into the solo realm, being a solo artist a little bit more.
But it would appear in 3 years you're good to go.
Yeah, 3 years.
Right.
I was solid. I started to build my demos. I had a keyboard and synthesizer, and I had a drum machine, and I had a 4-track recorder. So I was able to make demos,
Right.
and produce pretty good for the primitive equipment that I had. And I was able to make about 40 songs on a demo tape.
Okay.
Within that 3-year period, I had built up quite an archive of music.
Would you put your talent down to a God's gift or the time you're putting in those 3 years?
Oh, both. I mean, it's the gift can't be anything without refinement. You know what I mean? And without true learning your craft. I mean, everything for me, it was reverse engineering all the songs I loved at the time.
Right.
So if it was a Babyface produced record, I wanted to know what is that keyboard sound that he's using, and how do you find that? What keyboard is that? So I'd go to the music stores and play all the keyboards until I found the one that was the actual Babyface sound, And then I would find that keyboard, I'd bring my sampler over, and I'd play the note of that keyboard into my sampler. I'd sample the notes. So now I have virtually that sound on, you know, save it to my discs and bring it home and start writing in that style of music.
Right.
And that's kind of like what taught me.
Yeah.
Sort of imitation, you know, it was imitating my greats, my favorites.
Is this all you're doing in those 3 years? Like,
Yeah.
this is it.
Yeah.
All my time. I ain't doing nothing else.
Nothing else.
This is me.
You know, and I bet the only thing else I had time for was probably having a girlfriend.
Well, yeah, you got to make time for that. I hear it. But but you're putting in.
Yeah, putting in the time.
Right. Okay. You want to be a singer. Nothing else matters. There is no plan B. Right. You're making demos, and then you go and shop your demo. Well, and how are you doing this? Are you just knocking on doors?
Well, basically, what it was we would have. I got a couple of guys that were making their rounds in the industry. They weren't really full-fledged managers, but they were trying to sort of like, you know, politic with people and get involved, have conversations. And so, but they didn't really have necessarily artists they were working with. So when they found me, they kind of like had a project. I was like, well, I'm trying to get these tapes and these CDs to be heard by everybody in the industry. So I was like, all right, well, we'll set up some meetings for you. I was like, okay, great. So we set up 5 meetings, you know, 5 different labels. And you go to one meeting, you show up, and the guy's like, actually, he tells the secretary, can we reschedule the meeting? Because, you know.
Yeah, but the fact that you're even talking to these guys is amazing, bro.
Yeah, so the fact that I'm even to get into the office is, for me, I'm excited, but kind of getting turned down and sort of like, you know, rescheduled. And after a while, I started to get a little bit perturbed. I was like, you know what? Like, forget this. I'm going to go force myself on these guys because they don't know who I am, you know, and they need to know. I'm coming with a 40-song, you know,
demo.
Both sides, side A and side B on the cassette.
And
you know
C
I mean?
and D and E. Yeah.
So yeah, we had the CDs, we had the tapes, and I was going, you know, I had my little headshots or whatnot if I needed, you know, I had a little backpack ready, you know. And I remember going to Motown Records and sitting in Motown Records with their head of the A&R. And he says, okay, so you produce? And I was like, yeah, I produce. And he's like, you sing too? And I was like, yeah, I'm singing all the songs on the demo. So you produced and wrote everything? Yeah, I produced and wrote everything. Okay. Who's recording it all? I'm recording it all. You recorded that and you mixed that too at your house? Like, yeah, do it all. Okay. So I have a couple groups that I might need your production on. And it's like, oh, okay, that sounds good. Play me the groups. They play me the songs. I'm like, okay, whatever. Let me play you this song. And I play him a song. Oh my God, that's a hit. I want that for my group. I want that for this group, blah, blah, blah. So I'm getting all excited and whatnot. And I'm thinking, I made it. You know, I'm going to be on Motown Records or something. And so I was like, I have one more meeting to go to, but he's like, I want to meet with you again, man. Can you come back after your meeting and talk to me? Because I'm serious. I want to sign you, you know? And I was like, all right, cool. I have a meeting at this other label named Yab Yum, and I'm going to go there and then I'll come back. And he's like, cool. So I go to Yab Yum Entertainment, which is this hole-in-the-wall record label. It looks like they're just beginning because they have barely 3 or 4 computers on in their place. And, you know, it's just 2 people. It's Tracy Edmonds comes to the door, and she, beautiful lady, you know, and I'm just like, oh, hello. And so nice to meet you. And she's like, hi, I'm Babyface's wife. And I was like, you're whose wife? Is it Babyface's wife? This is our label. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just happened to stumble in to the exact producer and place that I wanted to go to, but I had no idea. Because it didn't say LaFace on it. You know what I mean? It said Yab Yum.
What's Yab?
Which is, yeah. I don't even.
Right.
So so I play on my I believe Yab Yum is actually a position, a sexual position.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Pull out the Kama Sutra, guys. Confirm it. I need some confirmation. Someone Google it now, right? I'm gonna take your word.
The first one to but so I end up playing my demo for him, and I say, you know, you're like my greatest influence. You know, you're the reason why. I mean, you're my teacher, and for me to.
Is Babyface in there as well?
Yeah.
Oh, you meet him as well?
I met him as well, and you know, he's very, very cordial to me, and you know, he's like, so who's that singing on there? And I was like, that's me. And he goes, that you did the production too? And yeah, same deal. Telling him I wrote everything and everything. He's like, you don't want to be an artist? And I was like, well, that's like your thing, man. I mean, you know, you're an artist. You're Babyface. I mean, I was like, I'd love to be an artist, really, but I'm more concerned about getting my product. I want to just be on the team, man. How can I get on your team? You know? And he was just like, I think you should be an artist. You know, you've got the look, you've got it's good sounding voice. You're producing, you self-contained artist. And I was like, well, if I was gonna be an artist, I want to be just like you because you do it all. You produce. You're an artist. You know, you sort of like sing on the backgrounds of all the songs you produce. I love the idea of doing that. He said, well, you should do that. And I was like, okay, you know. And so I didn't know how far he wanted to take it because it was more like, okay, we definitely want to work with you, you know, that kind of a thing. But it was very vague in that aspect, you know. And so I said, okay, well, it was so nice to meet you and everything. And we leave it at that. I go back to Motown. I go in the meeting with Motown. I'm kind of like just giddy, right? I'm a little bit like, you know, excited. So I'm not saying anything about it. But we're talking and he sees I'm a little bit more confident in there, you know.
Right, yeah. Because you got offers now.
Yeah.
You're
so
one.
I'm like, okay, so what you got for me? You know?
Yeah. How many zeros at the end of that?
I mean, yeah, exactly. So my man's like, excuse me one second, I have a phone call. He gets the phone call. He's like, yeah. Oh, hey, what's up, Face? Hey, oh my gosh, it's so nice to hear from you, man. What can I do for you? Yeah, there's a Jon B here sitting here. Yeah. Oh, man, you can't do that, man. What are you talking about, man? I'm talking to him about signing him, man. He's like, oh man, all right, my man. All right, no doubt. And he hangs up. And he's like, Babyface said to go back over there because he wants to sign you and don't even meet with me right now because he plans on signing you.
Wow.
You know, that Tracy Edmonds plans on signing you. You know? So this is Tracy Edmonds' label that she was basically like she got that with Sony Epic Records. And to be sort of like ushered into Sony Epic was to jump on a Sony Learjet and with Babyface and Tracy, and they were kind of like showing me, look, you knocked on the right door, all right? Like don't think about going anywhere else. And so after that trip to New York and meeting Tommy Mottola with them,
you're throwing names like it's nothing, bro.
Yeah, well,
like, where did Tommy come from, bro? You get what I'm saying?
It's nothing for me now.
But where did Tommy come from?
History now. So Tommy Mottola was, you know, back then the head of Sony, and so yeah, he was he's like, play my piano for me, you know, and I was like, played him some songs, and I remember Mariah, Carey, that was back then when they were still married and all that. She was there too, and it just was an epic day, and I just, you know, I had all my dreams come true that day because they offered me the deal. And
was it album deal? What is it?
It was basically all three. It was you know, everything you could ask for as an artist. You know, that's what I walked into. You know, because immediately I was able to produce Toni Braxton, New Edition, Color Me Bad.
We're gonna get to that.
7, all of that came right away.
What does the money look like? Is it good? Is it life-changing? What is it?
The money wasn't really the big factor, although I had other deals that were pending, that were not pending, but basically they were waiting for me to say yes to another deal that they had offered. Not them, but Warner Brothers actually.
Right.
And I passed up the Warner deal to do the, you know, the deal with well, I really had all of my eggs in one basket, as they say, with the whole Babyface situation. I really wanted to work with him.
Yeah.
And so signing to his label, or his wife's label, was sort of like the defining factor of that.
Yeah.
I was really gonna decide whether and who I worked with. Yeah.
So it's not about the money, but the money's okay.
The money was okay, yeah. And I mean, for an 18-year-old kid, you know what I mean? It's better than I'm ever going to do in any kind of career, any other career. Yeah.
What do you do with that money? Do you go wild, or
no? I bought equipment. See, I'm a professional musician. You know, I'm not a kid who wants to be famous.
Right.
There's a difference between the boy band mentality of coming in, oh, you're such a good-looking kid, you're sharp, whatever, you're handsome, let's put you in front of the camera and give you a song to sing, and just look cute doing it. It's like, no, that's not my deal, man, at all. In fact, that was quite the opposite of what I wanted to do. Did not want to be a pop star, which I feel like we'll get to that later. But in terms of really kind of being in the black music scene and R&B, you know, was my goal. And it wasn't, and I didn't really fit the mold, as they say, but at the time.
Why is that? Is
Well,
that
because I
appearance-wise?
was white,
Right, okay.
you know, it's black music. So it's like, who's white doing R&B? There's no one at this time.
Nobody's doing it.
No one.
Right.
Color Me Bad was the only multiracial group that was out with, you know, a couple guys that were, well, I think there was two white dudes in there.
Yeah.
And then there was a Latino dude and a black dude in there. So they were sort of like the United Nations.
Yeah.
You know, but that wasn't what I was doing.
Right.
You know, what I was doing was, you know, I'm a white guy from Altadena coming to the, and I hate saying that I'm white, but at the same time, because there's a negative connotation in R&B that comes with that. It's almost like, you know, it's like, oh yeah, you're pretty good for a white dude, you know? That's what it was always for me until I proved myself and I came into the game. And
did you feel like you had to fight harder for that recognition?
Yes. I mean, you know, I was the butt of every joke in the 90s, you know, early on, for the breakfast, you know, sort of radio crew that wants to do an interview with me in the morning and say, this Babyface's new artist, man, damn, we thought you was black, you know, they're going on me. And that's fine because I was the first of my kind, really, you know? I mean, people like to say that George Michaels was an R&B artist. I mean, I choose to differ. I mean,
I think I would as well.
A pop artist.
Yeah, especially here
R&B.
in the UK, I would definitely put him more in the pop bracket.
We didn't consider him R&B in the United States either. We considered him, even though he won Best R&B one year.
Yeah, but they just do that to bring him down there, innit? Yeah. Get down there, bro.
It was quite controversial for us too. I mean, I remember they made a big deal about that. So that being the case back then, that's an example of how kind of people felt about me when I first came in. It's like, okay, what makes you think that you can do this, you know? And it's like, okay, let me show you what I do. And then like, you know, he can kind of sing. Okay, he sounds like Babyface a little bit. Let's see what else he's at, you know? And then so every record I felt like was an opportunity to just prove myself, you know?
So just to have it right, you're the first white R&B singer coming out of America. Can I say that? Like,
I mean, I will say that Tina Marie is the original GOAT, you know what I mean? And
male.
Also, Bobby Caldwell is also before me as well. Bobby Caldwell is, but I wouldn't necessarily call him R&B either. But he was sort of more of a smooth jazz.
Own it, Jon. Say yes, me.
Yeah,
done.
You know, I'm humble. I'm humble in the way that
I'm gonna say it. It's you, bro.
Yeah, bro. Respect.
It's you.
I respect that.
And then the artist name Jon B. Is that just your name? Was there any other artist names that you were gonna go with?
No. I mean, I loved Sting's name. I thought that was so cool. The fact that he just one day just decided I'm gonna be Sting.
Yeah.
So I was like thinking about names, you know, and I was like, what should I be? If I was gonna be a name, what should it be? You know, and we just never came up with anything.
No.
So I went with Jon, and then I was like, my last name is Buck, right? So like the name Buck, I felt was more of a country western kind of feel.
Okay.
You know, if I was a country western guy, I'd probably be Johnny Buck. You know what I mean? John Buck.
I hear that.
But Jon B sounded a little bit more just. I mean, you know, we had Eric B and Rakim, you know what I mean? So it was like the abbreviation was like more hip hop for me.
Makes sense. Yeah. All right, you signed, you spend your money on equipment, you're doing your craft, and then you start making beats for is it Toni Braxton?
Yeah, well, one of my first major collaborations with Face was we were in his living room, and he had this beautiful piano in his living room, and I was playing piano. And he comes in from the kitchen and he's like, "What's that?" And I was just in like G minor or whatever, playing just like a descending chord progression. He's like, "That is beautiful. What is that?" And I was like, "I just made it up." And he sits down and he starts singing, and he brings the dictaphone out and he's just like, "In the late of night, just before I close my eyes, you cried, babe." And I'm like, "Oh, what is that? What is that right there?" You know, and he just freestyled that on the mic, on the phone. So I said, "Oh my God, we got one with this one." And so we recorded it just like rough, right? And it wasn't even anything that could be even used. But what he did was he played it for Toni Braxton. And she says, "I love it." And then they went to Japan and they recorded with I believe it was the Osaka Orchestra or something like that. It was insane. Like they had a full-on philharmonic orchestra backing the song up, and she has the most amazing voice. And what started off on as a a little ditty in the saying a little a little John in the living room was now a huge record, the last song on Toni Braxton's highest selling album. She sold how many millions of records on that. But so for me, just to be sort of like the conceptualizer of that was a great honor. And getting to do things like that for me just was the whole point of being in the close proximity of Babyface, getting those opportunities. Because I don't feel like I would have had that same opportunity.
Sure.
Just on my own.
Of course.
Yeah.
How is that when you're making beats, but you're on the background as opposed to being an artist? Like, were you happy with just doing that?
Yeah, I mean, making beats is like, for me, it's like survival. It's like breathing, That's like what I do. It's innate in me to sort of make rhythms and also play keyboards and, so I'm all the chords, all the melodies, the bass lines, all of that. I'm doing all that. So there's some guys who know how to punch the pads and, line up the dots on the screen. And it's like, I'm not that type of producer. I'm a real musician, so songs happen all the time for me, and it's whether I catch it or not. And it's like, did you get that? Did you record that? It's like, whether it's a lyric or it's a chord progression or rhythm, whatever. It's just about catching that moment. Yeah.
Right. So you're making beats. Is it Toni Braxton, Color Me Bad as well?
Yeah.
How is that as well?
That was cool. That was a good thing. Immediately wanted me to put me with them. I felt like everybody was kind of curious. What would that be like if he's got such soul and they've got soul? Let's put them together. And we did about 3 records together, 3 or 4 records. It was fun time. And I felt like the 5th member.
Yeah.
After a while.
Of course.
Yeah, those are my brothers. And I mean, that was a good time. And After 7 soon came after that, the group After 7, which is Babyface's brothers.
Right.
And I was a huge fan of their voices and their songs. And they were sort of like owning R&B at the time, with the songs like Ready or Not and Can't Stop. And I mean, God, just the list goes on. But I mean, I just wanted to kind of add to that. And so being a fan, I kind of just came in and complimented what they already had going on, which was, plenty of music. And they didn't really need me because they had Babyface, you know what I mean? And producing all the rest of their album. But I felt like it was really cool. I actually went on a ski trip with Babyface. We went to his mountain house in Tahoe, and we were riding up the chairlift, and I played him all the songs in the car. And on the way up the chair, he's like, those songs are really good that you have, but I don't think you should use them for your album. I want to put it on my brother's album, on After 7's album. And I was like, are you kidding me? He's like, you gonna let me produce that album? He's like, you can do half, I'll do half. I was like, are you kidding me?
But are you not thinking these songs are good enough for me as well? So do I really want to be giving them away?
But to give them to them, it was like giving them to my heroes.
Right.
So it was an honor for them to even, hopefully they'll like them and they'll want to do them. It's not just Kenny wants me to. But it was a huge compliment for Kenny to offer those records as for them. And I feel like they did what they needed to do with them.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like they would have been any bigger with me or anything like that. So, yeah, and then the other thing that was a huge honor was to get to work with TLC.
Yes.
On the Crazy Sexy Cool album. And we did the song Red Light Special. And well, that was mostly Kenny that pretty much did that song. I was in the room and I made I want to say some suggestions.
Are you on the credits?
Yeah.
That's it then, innit? You did it, bro. That's all that matters.
It's a good thing. When you're a fly on the wall of something amazing, you're still honored,
Yeah.
So,
But at least they added you in there, because there's other people that would just take you out of there and say, no,
it was cool because I'm the only person who ever did a song so well. Actually, Donnell Jones did it too. And he made a hit with it. So he can really pat himself on the back for that. But working with Left Eye.
Yes.
I worked with Left Eye as a solo. We did a solo record, just her and I, called If I Get Caught in Your World. And it never came out. It didn't make that album, but it was leaked out. Somebody had a cassette, I guess, recording of it, and it's poor quality, but it's out on YouTube. And I know somebody put that one out. And I was like, oh my God, that's the demo of that song that I was so honored to have done with her. Yeah, well, she was living here,
That's amazing. Okay, you're making songs for everyone else, and then I suppose your own album comes out. Is this
so 95, my first debut album, Bonafide, came out, and I was official to the scene. Pretty Girl was well, actually, Someone to Love was which was a duet with Babyface.
That's right.
We got Grammy nominated for that song, and it was on the Bad Boys soundtrack with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, and just all of this whirlwind of everything happening for me at that point. You know, going to Grammy parties and seeing. You know,
What are you seeing, mate?
Bruce Springsteen. You know, Bruce Springsteen is standing right next to me, like, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?" And I'm like, "All right, I guess I'm in the right place at the right time," you know. And getting to meet people like Whitney Houston, you know what I mean? Shake her hand and, "Oh, you handsome. Nice to meet you." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, I just got told I was handsome from Whitney Houston. Like, you're kidding me. So yeah, those type of first time moments. Getting to shake D'Angelo's hand, you know,
R.I.P.
Van Peace, rest in peace. You know, meeting Alicia Keys. You know who was an honor to meet at that same time, and who actually ended up producing and working with was Luther Vandross.
Oh wow!
And I remember seeing him over people walking through, and I go, "Luther, it's Jon B." And he goes, "Jon B." And I go, "Luther." And he goes, I go, "I want to work with you, man." And he goes, "I want to work with you, man." Like back and forth through the crowd, you know. And it was just like, oh my God, like moments like that you can't ever have back, but you know, you're just grateful that they happened. Yeah.
How is your ego? Because you're Grammy nominated, you're on this Bad Boy soundtrack. You've landed, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's landed. You got Babyface as your wingman. Like,
it's crazy.
Like, how is that for you to handle?
Well, I had a very, very humble approach because everything was about, you know, really citing Babyface for, you know, in terms of my approach was to humble myself to the opportunity that I was given, and to show the appreciation and the gratitude, you know, to all of the people that were surrounding me in my career, including Sony Epic, you know, being an incredible record label to record for and incredibly supportive in the first 3 albums.
Yeah.
And they're only 3 albums. Those are the only albums that we did together, were the first 3. And, you know, we had successful multi-platinum singles. You know, my ego was, you know, anybody who came up like I did, being a real musician, recording, producing yourself, you had every right to sort of come fly off the wall and sort of, you know, pop your collar and be like, "I'm the man." But I wasn't doing that. I was in the studio. I was in the lab. I was, you know, I was mastering and mixing my records with the engineers that usually never have the artists in the studio when they work. And they're like, "This guy, he won't go away. He wants to be involved in."
So you
every
love the
aspect.
music more than the fame and all of that.
Oh yeah, man.
I respect that.
They couldn't get me to be more famous. I mean, they were trying. You know?
Yeah.
They wanted me to date famous people.
Is that what they're doing?
Well, you know, they would hook you up with someone, you know,
Who?
walk the red carpet with you know, Michelle Thomas at the time, rest in peace. She was such a sweet girl, but actress at the time, and making waves, and different people that were coming up in the game. You know, they'd pair us up and put us on the red carpet, and I didn't really take to that side.
PR game you're not playing.
The PR game wasn't as important to me in the beginning.
I respect.
But at the same time, I learned the value of all of the different, you know, tools that you need in this industry to make yourself known.
How was it not to win the Grammy but to be nominated? Is there a double-edged sword with that?
Not at all. Just to be nominated from the very beginning is, well, I was kind of floating on cloud 9, being that I had a duet with my favorite person, and he was, you know, sort of vouching for me. You know, it was a much more confident feeling than I had when I was growing up in high school on White Boy Wednesday. They punch you in the chest, "Get out my way, white boy." You know what I mean?
White Boy Wednesday? What the hell is that, bro? Is that a thing?
That was in my high school. That's what we had, man. We had, you know, predominantly black high school, you know, and if you was feeling yourself that day, with your chest a little too high, you got sunk in.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So yeah, man, I was brought up in a little bit of a rough scenario in high school, getting, you know, picked on or whatnot for singing, getting a little bit too much attention at the talent shows.
Right.
You know, and that's all right, because I mean, what don't kill you just makes you tough and stronger. And that was what, you know, I feel like gave me my my ability to kind of go anywhere and feel like I'm gonna be all right, you know, because of kind of once you've been sort of like humbled physically like that, like I feel like it makes you have to stand up for yourself.
For
You
real.
have to be like you know, a man. You know what I mean? And it's like your rite of passage almost. If you can't take that and you just sink after that, and it's like you hold your head down wherever you, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But if you rise up against that and you show them, nah, I ain't no punk, and you're gonna have to hit me in the chest every Wednesday because I'm gonna be out there like that. You know what I mean?
So you got the big chest now.
You know,
innit?
well,
Now
I'm
it's like,
just
yeah.
saying, you know what I mean? It's just, well, it's more like I don't claim to be at all big at all. In fact, I have a big spirit though.
Well,
In
that's
every
really neat.
room I walk into, I make it known that I am not here to be fucked with. You know what I mean? For the best word. You know what I mean? It's like I paid my dues already in those areas, you know, in high school. So, you know what I mean? It's like when I walk in, I'm walking in as a grown man and as a self-respecting man.
Okay, album comes out, does well, and then what? Is it the second album now?
Yeah,
You
so
go
second
again?
Second album is better than the first one because now I have the confidence that an artist should really have to be able to put out an album out. In terms of like the direction, my first album was very eclectic. They had this idea that they wanted to sort of make me into this worldwide phenomenon artist like George Michael's, you know? And so we went that direction on the first album, very eclectic. Put me in the studio with actually, I asked to record with Dion Estes, which is George Michael's bass player.
Okay.
And big shout to Dion Estes, man. He's such a talent. And if you look at some of that Wham music that they made and, you know, the inflections of the bass and how gorgeous the bass is, it's very, very, someone like me who was a real fan of the music, it meant a lot to me to get into the studio with him and have them sort of like, I like that. Let me put my take on it and just step it up to a whole nother caliber, you know? So yeah, that was a real honor to work with Dion on that album. And actually had Bootsy Collins from Parliament pull up and do a record on the first album. So first album had a little bit of everything on there, a little funk, a little bit of jazz, a little hip hop, a little soul, but predominantly R&B, that album. But still, Someone to Love was more of a poppy R&B record, I feel like. So a bit more commercial and a little bit too sort of like in the middle of everything rather than choosing my lane, which was like, I want to do R&B, man. Let's get back to this R&B music, you know? And so I went in with producers Tim and Bob at the time, and in Atlanta, I was cooking up with them, and they had this track, which was They Don't Know. And I heard that track, and immediately, I'm a huge Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis fan, so the track kind of had that swag to it. I was like, man, that sounds like some Jam and Lewis, you know? But like a younger, fresher, like, I don't know what it is. It just, they had their own thing. And I selected that track and I said, let me go write that. And I think I went in the other room to go speak to my girlfriend at the time, and she was riffing, telling me some hearsay stuff or something at the time and making me feel like she was jealous or something like that. And so I kind of had that just in my psyche. The back of my head was like, all right, all this hearsay, everybody's hating on me now at home. Personally, I felt like I needed to get that out. So I started writing, heard about my past, things I used to do, the games I used to play. The lyrics just started telling the story for me. But really the hook was what kind of like said it all. It was more of a statement to, you know, to my love at the time, which was, don't listen to what people say. They don't know about you and me. And it was very, very specific and to the point. But at the same time, I felt like I was speaking to my label. You know, I felt like I was, you know, when you make these statements on these hooks and you have to sing these hooks and you layer up the hook with different harmonies and whatnot, it kind of gets to be like this thing where you're kind of meditating on this phrase.
Yeah.
And what does it mean to you? And you're thinking about everything that you're going through at the time. And so to say, don't listen to what people say, when I had everyone telling me everything around me, you know what I mean? From the label to my girlfriend to my friends, I just wanted to kind of like put that all to bed and be like, you know what? They don't know about this here. They don't know about what's going on inside my heart. So if you want to come to me and listen to me, then cool, let's talk. But other than that, you know.
How long did it take to write?
Probably about an hour.
For real?
2 hours, man.
It's mad, isn't it?
So fast. you know, it was writing itself. You know, I was writing the lyrics, but I felt like my pen was moving on its own. Like it was you know, sort of like a train of thought. It's just chugging along. You know?
Yeah. Song's done. How does it feel? Do you feel like it's gonna do what it does? Like
I had like this great feeling about this song. In fact, I don't feel like I've ever felt about a record the way. Well, maybe Are You Still Down with Tupac? I knew that was.
Yeah.
But I mean, They Don't Know was the song that sort of like, for me, I said I finally got to say what I want to say to these people and to the, you know, to everybody around me. It's like, yo, I really do this. And I wrote that record 100%, you know. Well, the only part on that record I didn't write was one of my favorite parts. My man Bob from Tim and Bob, Bob Robinson, he wrote, "You're my angel," which everybody sings at every show. So the one part I didn't write.
Yeah. It's a big part though.
But it is a big part. So big up my man Bob and Tim Kelly as well for making an incredible track.
Yeah.
And Bob played like the key. He played like Rhodes on there. A lot of the sparkly Rhodes you hear in the background. A lot of the ambient sort of elements of the song. He did that. So it's a complete meeting of the minds and very musical record too as well. I've never quite heard anything. I've heard people sample it and sort of take interpolations of it.
Right.
I've never heard anybody make a record that reminded me of They Don't Know Yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really
No,
know.
I can see that.
You know?
Yeah. Okay, is that the first single that comes out?
No, you know, it's oddly enough not the first single that came out. They put out a song called Don't Say.
Okay.
And the story behind Don't Say is that my good buddy John Robinson, who was a producer who got signed at the same time I got signed. He's watching all this stuff happen to me. You know, my first album, he's like the most supportive friend the entire time. He's like, he could have said, I want to produce you and blah, 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 and put himself in the position of, you know, but instead of that, he decided to just fan my flame, you know what I mean? And be like, man, you're doing so good, John. Keep going, bro. You got this. And so I remembered him on that second album.
Right.
And I said, bro, you got to have the first single.
Oh, I love that.
You know what I mean? And he was just like, you kidding me? I was like, bro, you wrote this song. You did the track. Like, it's yours, man. You know what I mean? He's like, oh my gosh. So he's like so honored. And then we went to the studio. We cut the record. And at the time, I'm kind of like vibing like Casey and JoJo and Jodeci at the time. Pretty heavy influence on me. A little bit raw, gospel-y kind of soul.
Yeah.
So I was feeling kind of like that energy on that song, Don't Say. And we had Mark Nelson from As Yet come in and sing the backgrounds. And it's the only song on my album I didn't sing that many backgrounds. I kind of kept the texture of the guy, Mark Nelson's voice. And I loved it. And the song was a song that wasn't speaking about love going right and like, okay, you know, everything's beautiful. In fact, the song was speaking about things not going right and you know, being made to feel like a fool sometimes, you know, and how you can't say what you won't do. You don't say what you won't do, because you know, if it's the real thing, you're gonna be the first one to go on to and do it. So that was sort of like the beginning of me challenging my atmosphere, my universe with these lyrics like that. I felt like it fit the, you know, it fit my my narrative, you know. And then came They Don't Know.
Right. How does that single do, the first one?
Not as good as we wanted it to.
Right.
You know, the real beautiful gem on that song was having Sanaa Lathan be my love interest in the video.
Right.
And that was like her debut to the screen.
Look at that.
So it was really cool to have that in my archive and to meet her and all that. That was wonderful. It turned the song into a bigger song too.
Right.
You know, the video being the way that it was.
Right.
But yeah, that didn't really take off for us right away.
Yeah.
And so we were in this sort of place where like, we got to release a single. Why not They Don't Know? And the label at the time just didn't think that song was as good as it turned out to be. And so what happened was they felt, when I cut the song with Tupac, it was 2 weeks before his passing.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, this was it hit me like a ton of bricks.
Right.
You know, we did the song in the studio. We're vibing, you know, we're boys.
How did that happen? How did that first? Yeah, let's get into that.
Yeah, Tupac and I met through a friend his name is Bezo, and big shout out my man Bezo, man. We still down to this day. And yeah, Bezo called me up and he's like, somebody want to talk to you, man. He puts him on the phone. What up, Jon B? This Tupac Shakur. I was like, what? I was just like, what's up, man? He's like, yeah, we down here shooting a video, man. I need you to come down here, man. Be in my video. I was like, I'm on my way. Yeah, I go down the video and it's like Eric B is from Eric B and Rakim.
Yeah.
He's like there. He's standing outside. I'm going, this is crazy.
What's the video?
Are You Still Down?
Okay.
Well, no, the video
No,
was, the song
yeah.
that we did is called Are You Still. The video was called How Do You Want It?
Oh, how do you want it? Oh, you're in that.
Well, I wasn't in it
Casey
because
Jojo.
I didn't ask to be in it.
Oh, you were just on set.
I was on set with Casey and JoJo and everybody that was actually in the video, but I wasn't in the video. I didn't know Pac yet, so I was a newbie. I just came in and
But he just invited
shook
you
his
to
hand.
set.
He wanted to meet me,
Nice.
and so I came down and met Casey and JoJo, and and of course those are the guys I was telling you I was vibing to
Yeah,
at the time.
honestly.
So it was just like, come on, man, this is perfect. And we all hit it off. I mean, we're back there, we're smoking, we're drinking, we're listening to tunes. He's like, play us some of your tracks, man. And so I put on one of my tracks and he starts freestyling to my track, man. And right in front of me, he starts making this song, like, and he's like, what we talking about? And I'm like, Down and Out on Lonely Street is what I called the beat Lonely Street for some reason. And I was like,
And the beat is you that made it, sorry?
Yeah. So he starts rapping Down and Out on Lonely Street, and and then Casey and JoJo go, oh, y'all got one right there, man. Y'all need to take that to the studio, man, and get that down. So he's like, all right, we need to link up. And I was like, absolutely. So 2 weeks later, he hits me up, and he's like, I'm at Can-Am. You got to come down, man, and let's cook up. So I came down, and all of the equipment that I would normally use was all rented and there for me. And so I'm thinking I'm going to start punching the pads and getting the beat going. But I said, before I start, because Pac was already there, it was really interesting. I walked up and his burgundy, was like a Rolls Royce at the time, was sitting there. And I was like, this got to be Pac's car, right? So I walked by it and it's like white, white interior, and there's my CD, my bona fide CD, right in the front seat sitting there. So I was like, oh, snap. Either he wanted me to see that or he was really listening to my album. And I was like, damn, I walked in, I was like, hey, man. He's like, man, I'm a fan, man. And I was like, what? I'm a fan. So this is after the initial meeting, but we just like telling me, he's like, man, you're the shit. And I'm like, man, you're the shit, like, are you kidding me? Like, let's do this shit. And so we get in there, and before I start punching the pads, I'm like, you got anything you want to play me, like track wise? Because that Johnny J, man, How Do You Want It, man? That track is crazy. Like, you got any other beats that he did that, you might want to play me? The first beat he plays me is the beat for Are You Still Down?
Oh, wow.
And I'm going, forget the equipment, man. I was like, let's put that down right there. So we took that down and immediately started writing Are You Still Down in the studio.
Yeah.
About 3 hours later, we're done. I mean, we're literally done with the record. And I mean, so yeah, I mean.
And it's a duo as well. It's not like it's a featuring artist. He's got multiple verses on it. It's like you guys are really going back to back on it. That's what I'm saying.
You never really heard
that structure.
Yeah, the structure of it being where we're both going to sing a verse before we get to the hook, so that you can kind of feel us both on the song. Like, it's not just, okay, wait till the after the bridge and then you're going to have this climactic moment one time in the song or whatever. It happens twice, and it's a very telling like dramatic kind of scenario. He's painting a picture of, like, hollering back to your ex or somebody that you've been with in the past that you shared something with, you letting them know, like, I know you still down, and are you still down?
What's the bigger cosign, Babyface or Tupac?
Oh man, I would never compare. I would never compare. There's two legends that both deserve to have their flowers and recognition. I would never have the audacity to compare. I think that it's just this wonderful, wonderful situations.
The song is done. Is that where you do a part two then? Or is part two vocal
part two,
pretty instantly?
Well, part two was done in reverence and respect to the collaboration that happened in the studio, but it was also done, basically, Johnny J and I did that song together in the studio
Right.
in remembrance of Pac.
Oh, so he passed by then.
Yeah.
Okay, I
So
didn't know.
Pac had passed 2 weeks after our recording.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and so yeah, that was sort of like the song that I kind of kept as like a wounded soldier, you know, in the back. I was like, I don't want to talk about this. This is like if your family member just died. Because I mean, I was literally I just knew him. So it was like, that was my favorite person at the time. It was like, if I met Babyface, God forbid, and he passed, it would have been the same type of deal. It was like, okay, the whole new sort of universe started to open up with this really street record that was like, you know, hip hop and R&B at the same time. So we were kind of like ruffling feathers, you know, in high places as far as the label's concerned. They were like, well, Jon B's getting a little too urban now, you know what I mean? This is getting a little blacker than we wanted it to be. You know? So we wanted to be a little bit more on the pop side. And I was like, man, I'm not going to even press y'all on what single to put out. When the single that you guys wanted to put out, don't say didn't even go nowhere. God bless my homie John Robinson for producing that, but that wasn't the song to go with the first single. You know what I mean? And so what are you guys going to do now? They Don't Know is the song I want to put out. What are you guys going to do? Well, they didn't believe in They Don't Know, but they knew that Tupac Shakur was, oh, my bad.
No, you're good. Go on.
Well, you know, it's the kind of thing where, you know, I believed in the song They Don't Know, but the label felt iffy about it.
Yeah.
And so to complement that record, they wanted to do a double A side CD.
Yeah, I was coming to that.
Are You Still Down?
Yeah.
So they put Are You Still Down and They Don't Know on one, just sort of.
It's funny you say that.
Wow, this is it right here.
It's funny you say that.
And this was sort of to satisfy Sony. We had to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, and I felt like it was a very smart thing to do as well, because They Don't Know was sort of a record that I always wanted to put out, and Are You Still Down was always the record I wanted to put out with Pocket Pass. So we didn't want to, you know, we don't want to capitalize on my man's death. You know what I mean?
But it looks like you're giving them too much. You're giving them all the goodies in one. Do you get what I'm saying? So
we couldn't necessarily use Tupac's likeness.
Right.
Couldn't use his face. I didn't want to use his name because it was like he had just passed, and that was like blasphemous.
Would it feel like you was like capitalizing on?
Yeah.
Right.
It felt very wrong.
Yeah, I've noticed
it
doesn't say Tupac.
Just for the label to be like so adamant about making that a single after, when they heard it the first time, they didn't think it was anything, and then he passed, and all of a sudden now this was politically valuable now. So it's like,
yeah,
you know, let's put this out. And it's like, wait, you guys, the man just passed. Like, let's think about this now. I don't want this to look the wrong way. You know what I mean? And so that was my concern. And the label was also very concerned that this had a rap on it, and that it didn't fit a format at the time, because in the format of radio back in, when we're speaking about 96, when this record came out, rap was rap. It was played at a certain hour on the radio. Certain channel on the radio station played rap music, and it was very much separated from R&B music.
Yeah.
They didn't combine. So what we did was fuse the two together and make it virtually impossible for a person who could not play rap on an R&B station. They couldn't play that song. And a rap person who couldn't play R&B couldn't play the song on the rap station. So we were challenging the format, and the label didn't like that. The label didn't like that at all. So it was very much a political kind of, it was a gamble.
But whose choice was it to not have Tupac's face on here?
It was not allowed for us to use.
Right, as in legally.
Suge Knight basically at one point was going to shut the record down.
Right.
Tupac had done a song using the same beat, but it was sort of like the same beat, but not really. It wasn't as defined. For a demo that he did for a song called Tongue Kissing. That never came out. Well, it came out later off when he put out like all of his unreleased records and whatnot. And so people were like, that's Are You Still Down? He got the beat from Are You Still Down from Tongue Kiss. It's like, technically, yes, but it never was a song. So it was, you know, it was like we made Are You Still Down before that even came out. And, but, you know, it was definitely the kind of thing where Suge was obviously very territorial about Tupac, And who's this white boy gonna take
Right.
Tupac's name?
You ever get that knock? Did you ever get that knock on the door from Suge?
But no. But he basically made it. He tried to shut us down. The only reason why the song came out was because of Afeni Shakur.
Right.
Afeni, his mother, had the other half of the say.
Yeah.
And so she said, no, my son never played me his music, too much, not too many of his records. Dear Mama and, Keep Your Head Up and things like that. He was proud to play for her. And he was proud to play Are You Still Down for her. So she named his next album that they would release, Are You Still Down?
I was coming to that as well.
Yeah, and so she said, no, Jon, you can use this song.
Wow.
And so at his 1-year memorial, I sang at his 1-year memorial in Atlanta. They asked me to come sing, and I sang Are You Still Down? And his mother came, Afeni. And after Mopreme, his brother,
I know Mopreme quite well. He's a friend of mine. Yeah, I've actually met him in America. I've done songs with this guy, so I know Mopreme really well.
A lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
Mopreme was the voice on Tony's Feel Good, yeah.
Yeah.
They worked out and then they worked it in. Tony has done it again. That's Mopreme.
And then that Bury Me G verse is his. Yeah. So, more trouble than your average.
Yeah. So he came up and he said, Mom, my Dukes want to have you at the crib, bro. And you gonna come through? And I was like, absolutely. So I came through and she showed me all his memorabilia and his couch that he still had from his apartment and all his swords and the pictures that she had.
His plaques are in Mopreme's house. I've been there, I've seen them, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
With the cassette tapes.
Well, she had wallpapered her bedroom, with every picture that she ever had of her and her son.
Cool, yeah.
And so it wasn't a white part of the wall showing. It was just at the ceiling. I mean, everything was pictures. So touching. And then we actually smoked a blunt together in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I started to cry because about my boy and everything. And she was like, that's okay. But she started to laugh at me a little bit. She's like, you really real. You a really real one, Jon. Like, we love you. She's like laughing, like you are brother from another mother,
Yeah.
So his sister was there as well. And she started crying along with me and everything. And I was just like, oh, you guys, man, thank you so much. And just holding their hands. And
yeah.
And she's like, you want to see my son? And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, let me show you my baby. And then she took me in the other room and she showed me the safe with the urn.
Oh, wow.
And the urn was in there. So that's how come I know that Tupac's not alive. You know what I mean? All the rumors and whatnot say that he escaped, Machiavelli did.
Yeah. I'll be honest, that'd
be the greatest thing if he was alive though, man. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine,
in this
bro?
day and age, like coming back on some...
You come back on TikTok, just a quick
they think
TikTok.
He's AI.
Just
they would
quickly
say
just
it
go,
was AI,
yeah.
But he was like,
yeah, it's me,
I'm
motherfucker.
really here, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
that is amazing.
So, yeah.
Okay, so then are you? They Don't Know comes out first.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, are you still
they both come
time?
out.
Yeah.
So then how is that now? Now you've got a double whammy out there, and they're both as big as each other, really.
The thing was, it really was the smartest thing they could have done, because essentially what we needed to do was just flood the scene with music.
Yeah.
Which is what we did. I mean, and every radio station was playing my music, whether it was Are You Still Down or They Don't Know. It was just always playing, or Someone to Love, or Don't Say. It was, at this point, we had some singles out there. So that felt really good to have a consistent run really going. And the tour that popped off from that was Destiny's Child was my opening act.
Look at that.
I was Jagged Edge they went before him, and I'm the headliner. And it seems surreal to think back to those days now with the success.
That's proper made it moment.
Yeah. And so I mean, the success continued with the song I Do What You Say Boo.
Yeah.
Which was a self-produced, self-wrote, a completely, that was my first 100%er.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first record that I put out that I was like, that was on my demo. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it was on my demo. That was one of the songs that was actually saved. For some reason, we didn't use that song on the first album. But yeah, I was really influenced by Toni. Raphael Sadiq was a big, huge inspiration for me, along with Babyface and everybody else. So I think a song like "I Do What You Say Boo" kind of reflects that little bit of the soul that they had, that they were making with records like Anniversary, or Just Me and You, or any of those kind of records. It's just the hooks rang a certain way for me. So when I wrote "I Do," I was very much vibing on some Toni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are famous now. There is no doubt now. What are you doing with your money? Are you prudent with it? You're not buying equipment anymore, surely, bro.
Oh,
You can't still be buying this shit, man.
Never
You can't.
stopped. Never stopped.
What
I
do you
still
mean?
am to this day. No, I think that it's, you got to keep investing in your craft.
Yeah.
And that's, with money comes, ability to acquire things that your boys wanted. And musically, that's where my heart was set. I wasn't thinking about cars and and houses or whatnot. Actually, I did buy my house that I currently live in, and that was probably the biggest investment that I've ever made. And my family gets to enjoy that house now, and so it was the smartest purchase I ever made.
Of course.
But yeah, like things started to grow. The studio started to get bigger and more equipment, more sounds, and more ability really to collaborate with who I wanted to collaborate with too, as well, because the budget sort of became.
Right. Who was on your list that I need to collaborate with?
Oh man, I was a big Wu-Tang fan, so I was like, any of the Wu I would love to work with, but I wanted to work with Nas.
Yeah.
I wanted to work with Jay-Z. I wanted to work with a lot of hip hop artists.
Right.
Being that Tupac was in my archive now, like I had made my point about, like, I'm down for real collaboration.
Yeah.
Let's get in the room together.
Right.
I don't want to send you the record. You know what I mean? Like,
I want to do
up. So, I had the ability to have Nas come through the crib, and the studio I'm talking about that I built up, now all of a sudden had Nas in it, and I'm like, playing beats for him that I made in my new studio. And he's like, this is fire. Like, what this like some male Sade smooth, and what are you on, man? I'm like, this is for you, bro. Like, I cooked this up for you. This is what I had in mind, because I was a big fan of the song Street Dreams by him. And so that pocket of that was the inspiration behind Finer Things, the record I cooked up for him.
Wow.
And he came in and he was so professional, man. He was like the most professional person I've ever worked with. And I say in general, because I've never seen someone do so much work and then just want to erase it. Like, just,
oh, really?
Never mind that. Let me do it again. And then take an hour or two to write a record or whatever. And then he records it. And then he's like, I'm done. Like, I don't like that. Let's
scrap it.
Let's scrap that, and I'll get it going again. And he wrote the actual record that you hear now, and he put it down, and I'm like, I've never seen anything like that. The dedication, first of all. I didn't mind watching it all go down and being the guy recording it all,
But what did you keep those files, though, in case?
you
That's
you
a whole
don't
nother
song.
Yeah.
But
pretend.
yeah, I mean, I had like Mos Def come through. I had some heads come through. So,
wow.
When I got to work with ODB, that was cool too as well, and that kind of made the Wu-Tang Clan dream kind of come through, for me, as far as come true. And
how was ODB? Because I think Omar sat here and said he was just wild as hell, bro.
Yeah, I wasn't in on that session. That was the one session.
He was like, yo, this dude.
Actually, he was in NY when he recorded that, so that was the only voice that, but Scarface. I've done records with Scarface. I mean, he's an incredible person. Still a really good friend of mine to this day. Getting to go to Kingston, Jamaica, and work with Beenie Man. It's just like, I wanted to have experiences, man. Go work with Sly and Robbie in Studio One in Jamaica and Kingston. And really soak up the culture. And get eat some proper sugar cane and some coconut and watermelon and everything that they have to offer, some jerk chicken and some peas and rice and some plantain, and just get the culture and feel it for a good minute. I was out there for like 2-3 weeks, and we actually recorded even in Tough Kong Studios in the Bob Marley studio. Big Bob Marley fan. So
come on,
being that I was able to go and feel the essence, was a really great honor for the album.
Right. Is there a pressure then for the next album to be just as good then? Like, after Cool?
Absolutely. After Cool Relax, that's kind of like why I wanted to step up my features and make everything a little bit more. So that we had Faith Evans on that album. We had Cuban Link is on there.
Yeah.
I did a lot of hip hop collaboration on the third album.
Right.
It was really going.
Is that
down.
just the direction that music was going in?
I think so. I think that after the Pac
Feature.
that it was well sort of accepted that I was gonna do that for music.
But was that the tone of like R&B as well in like general? Like these rappers were starting to come and feature on them more. So
Yeah.
like you started
it
this,
was.
you know
It
what I mean?
really was.
It's your fault, John.
I
You know what
started it,
mean?
man.
You started this, you know what I mean? That's it.
The one who really started though was Mary J. Blige with Method Man.
Yes.
When she, when he's
You're all I
make a
need,
man, yeah, nothing make a man feel better than a woman.
Mm.
Queen with a crown, or we down for whatever. I mean, that was like the greatest like R&B hip hop collaboration. And so from that, I was like, I want to do something like that. That's like kind of like checking all the boxes.
Right.
Yeah.
So then the landscape of R&B is changing, should we say?
Yeah, absolutely. I will say it grew to be a little bit, it started off super smooth.
Yeah.
Everything was like
Like
suits,
ballady and
suits and ballads and really, very, very smooth. And then we kind of like roughed it up a bit. We kind of make it rugged with groups like Jodeci, you know what I mean? It's hard. I have to think back to the times now. Yeah, I mean, hip hop was so different than R&B back in the 90s. It was so jazzy. It was so, or on the other side, it was so funky, like funk, like, Parliament funk. Like on the West Coast, we love our P-Funk. So
yeah.
a lot of the West Coast hip hop was very driven off the Roger Troutman, Zap, P-Funk sound, and kind of derivative of that. But the East Coast stuff was sort of like anything goes. I mean, it was raw beats, really raw, banging break beats, that were coming into the scene. It was just like, all right, how am I gonna, because I don't want to just stay smooth and soft with it. You know what I mean? I want to kind of hit people in the club too. So
yeah.
So it was important to make a record like Don't Talk.
Is this where Don't Talk comes?
Yeah. And for me, I wanted to have a bounce, a bop that everybody kind of like, nodded their head to and could buy a drink and feel good to,
Yeah.
So, and it was also my way of kind of like updating myself, because so far the world had only heard real ballads from me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But
Are You Still Down with
But that's not a bad thing though, is it? That's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wanted to update because, I mean, it just, there was so much more to me than just singing ballads. And I didn't want to go down as the balladeer.
Right.
So, Don't Talk was like, I will say the influence behind Don't Talk, I always love to draw influence because it shows the reverence I have for the music, and how I'm not patting myself on the back, like saying, I'm the originator and the creator and the end all be all. Like, no, I love to show you that during the time I was vibing on a group like Next, and hearing them songs with like the songs like Too Close.
Too Close was
or like 112 with like Only You, and just these bounce records that had a boom, pop, and a boom, pop. It's just a 1-2. Very simple.
But that song seemed to fly though, because even here now we're hearing that's everywhere.
Yeah,
like
that was the one. That was almost one of the biggest records I ever made, and that was a self-contained 100%er. And that was another record that
that was all you.
All me. The beat.
Oh, the checks must be healthy on that one, baby.
10
Them royalties.
It was like 10 minutes it took to make that.
Really?
Yeah, because it's one chord progression the whole time.
Yeah.
So there's no changes in the song. It's basically just me going do tap do tap do.
Is that easy for you? Because you're a real music guy. You're a real eye at the music. Do you feel that's a bit like it's not really? It's quick
it
for
can be
me.
simpler than you think.
Right.
It can actually be simpler than you think.
Yeah.
And now the kids have so much at their disposal in terms of like you don't have to know how to play.
You have to know anything. You could just tell chat.
Yeah, it's all kind of done for you. But I really am still a believer in human intelligence.
Right.
Hi, I'm here.
I'm here. I'm here.
And so so it's still a beautiful thing to have your own individual style, a way of doing things.
Yeah.
And that's I maintain that.
Yeah. But that Don't Talk record makes you a pop star. Agree?
It was. I think that's
No, you're all right. You're good. You're
We
good.
can make mistakes in here.
Yeah,
It's all good.
it's cool, man. You can talk all you want. Don't worry about it. Smash something. Just not the camera. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, like Don't Talk was a song I feel like that really kind of started to open up.
Propelled you to like.
Yeah, like different eyes that weren't open, all of a sudden now we're open and paying attention. DJs really loved that record, so it kind of has spanned the times, you know what I mean?
You got the club record as well.
Yeah. So it kind of encouraged me to want to go more in the club direction.
Right.
So I started to expand. That's why I did the record with Beenie Man. You know,
Yeah.
Dance hall music started to really take off. An artist like Sean Paul all of a sudden was out and blessing the scene. So I was influenced by that. I was like, ooh, I've been to Jamaica now a couple of times. Like,
Yeah.
So it started to rub off on me, and I got my little patois in a little bit, you know, and so, but Beanie being that, you know, he's Beenie Man. It's kind of like having Babyface on your record. If you're gonna do R&B, you got to have Babyface. If I'm gonna do dancehall, I have to have Beenie Man, you know. And so Beanie loved it. He loved the situation. We went in, we worked with Sly and Robbie at Studio One, which is incredibly, you know, legendary studio for reggae music and Tough Gong as well. But yeah, like that was just so fun to do and to take home with me, and then to not know if it was gonna be successful because it was such a departure from everything I had done before. But yeah, man, you guys were the ones to take to that record. That in 2004.
Oh, we were bumping that.
Man, that was crazy. I came out here and it was boop, boop, boop on the walls. And just, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it was
Payments.
it was serious, man.
Yeah. Okay, cool. The actual landscape of R&B is changing though, right? And then you got to go again with a next album.
Yeah.
Right. So do you then change your whole entire landscape, or you just run with this, I want to be this pop star kind of guy now?
I really maintained the R&B. I really did. I continued to make R&B records, and you know, if I was gonna kind of have some hip hop influence in there, or some reggae influence, some whatever, it's gonna happen, and they're just gonna have to just deal with it on that album. I'm expanding. I'm doing different styles. I even had like a salsa style that was sort of like hip hop hybrid with salsa, and I had Cuban Link come in and bless me on that track on there. Just really show diversity, you know. And I want to kind of give everybody that a little love, show a little love to everybody, you know.
What's been your best feature if you had to just pick one? I know you probably can't, but
yeah, that's a hard one, man.
Come on, man. If someone just said, right,
because you know, I mean, Tupac Shakur is pretty much, it's, you know, he's not here to vouch for it anymore. So it's like wearing that song's, you know, on my shoulder and speaking about it with all the feeling and the passion that I do. I think it really shows how much appreciation I still have for that opportunity, and I have appreciation for it all. But being that I'm the only one that gets to rep Tupac's name, like I've pretty much primarily been the only one out here speaking on us in the studio and all that. It's like a badge of honor. You know what I'm saying?
Can that sometimes overshadow you as an artist and the work you've done and the kind of music like that? Do you know what I'm saying?
No, it doesn't overshadow. I think it just shows the level and the tier that I'm working from.
For real.
You know what I mean? And so you can't look at me as being like that one hit wonder dude who almost was something. It's like, no, we make classic records that are in the Bible of R&B. You know what I mean?
For real.
It's
100%.
So, and it's still being sampled to this day. So, you know, the Weeknd just sampled Someone to Love for a song called Niagara Falls that was just on his album. And we just had Chloe and Gunna sample They Don't Know not too long ago.
All those checks are still coming in.
Yeah, they're still coming, you know. But you know, I've even more so, the people want to use it. When you want to use my track as a bed for your record, that's such a compliment to me. Knowing that we still span the times and we still are relevant in this day and age. It's crazy.
And they don't know is still getting played now. It's still like one of your iconic records. How is that?
If you don't play
What's that? 20 years now? 25? What is that?
30. 31.
Right, 31. Holy shit! There you go. How is that? Like now, it's abundantly clear that song is not dying. It's not going nowhere.
It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing to sing that song. You know, I never get tired of it.
Yeah.
I think if anything, my voice gets a little tired of it.
Yeah. And then the landscape of R&B, it does appear R&B is not where it was, or that kind of golden era perhaps is What's your
I
assessment?
don't really
of-
feel that the R&B of today can compare to the R&B of the 90s just
Yeah.
because it's not making the same type of records.
Right.
So it's apples and oranges, you know what I mean? It's like it's not like anybody has made a love song except for like Olivia Dean or something like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the kids, I feel like you British law.
Yeah. You lot over there.
You lot still have an affinity for love. out
Yeah.
there. It's still
It's
I know the
somewhere.
culture's different. But I do feel like the artists like Adele and you know and Ray and you know Olivia Dean, they're making records that if they don't necessarily have love in their life, they're looking for love, real love in their life. And so they're putting out that frequency that lines straight up with the 90s. Because that's what we were about.
For real.
We longed for love. We weren't afraid to cry.
And it was okay
for
to
you.
talk about it as well, I suppose, and show your feelings. And be
Jodeci
like,
had
yeah.
a song called "Lady, I Will Cry for You."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like real talk,
Diary of
like,
a
that's the
Madman.
that's the difference between us. You know, we weren't afraid to literally get on our knees and beg.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like now we call that crooning from where I'm from. You know, and we weren't afraid to croon for you. Now it's a different thing because you gotta have the dance skills, boy.
Yeah. You got to croon in
better
a different
become-
way.
You gotta create, you know, you gotta croon in a different way. So like, you know, I don't do that. And I'll leave that to the guys that do that. And they do it well. The Chris Browns, and you know what I mean? But I would be dumb stumped to try to get up on stage and you try to move like that, you know? I'll leave that to the other guys.
Do you think that era could ever come back? Because everything's a cycle, right?
I think so. As you grow older, you might still can move like that. I see Chris Brown.
No, but I'm
moving
not.
like that
I'm not
forever.
talking about the movement. I'm talking about the R&B that love those
Yeah.
ballads, that to be
Well,
at the forefront
When
again.
right now, there's a lot of dance R&B records being
Yeah.
made, right? So that's great. But when we get back to the ballads, then it's like you got to come with something, you know. And I feel like when Chris put out what was it, the ballad that he just had that was so beautiful, that was like Residuals, right? Yeah. That to me was so refreshing to see from an artist like Chris, because it really gets back to, once again, the 90s energy
Yeah.
that we were given. And but it's a new thing. I will say that's a new vibe. But it's banking on the old energies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like what makes you love that song is because he's speaking about love in some way, you know? And where's the love? Where's the love you owe me? The residuals I'm deserved, you know? For me, it hits a little too close to home because I actually am old residual.
Nah, bro, you good. I saw you recently on the Cadillac show back with Babyface. How was that?
Yeah.
That was amazing to see.
Wonderful. It really was wonderful, man. I mean, you know, we haven't sang that song together for many years. So to get on, you know, in the car and just make it all impromptu like that.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because as we're riding around the city, people are like doing double takes, literally. Like, wait, that looked like Jon B. Wait, that's Babyface too. What
Yeah.
the hell? So yeah, that was super, super dope. And great to run into him again and to, you know, to sort of have our, you know, our mediation, you know, if you will. It's like father and son,
Yeah.
you know, that haven't seen each other in a long time, and they kind of, you know, lots happen. I had kids, you know, you had kids, you know. It's like, so,
But it's a full circle moment, right?
Full circle moment, man. But,
So were you lot
grown
cooking
men-
again then? Is it
Yeah, well, we're
you know what I'm
supposed to
saying?
be. We're supposed to be. Yeah, that's what the last conversation we had was. Let's get back in, man. We need to be making music together, not, you know, doing podcasts, speaking about each other and not knowing each other, you know, anymore. Like let's get back in here and make some history.
I love that.
Yeah.
How is it seen this TikTok world now and this whole world, the evolution of kind of social media, and perhaps you can just do it yourself now. You don't perhaps need a label behind you or a machine.
Yeah, I mean, it's refreshing because my wife is the manager, you know, in the you know, the aspect of me putting records out and every other aspect of my music, the booking of the shows. I mean, she's the brains behind it all. So it's really in house for us.
Yeah.
Everything from shooting videos to photography to tours. I mean, just it's all in house, so it's very independent, very much a people business.
Yeah.
Where it's about relationships with venues, it's about relationships with promoters,
Mm-hmm.
relationships with the real culture of the music. That's out here living to this music. Yeah.
And kind of music now, because I know we're pressed for time. I can't. Yeah, I'm there, bro. I know we're pressed for time. Let's talk about the new music. How is that? Talk to us about that.
Gotcha. Well, Waiting on You is the new album. It's my 10th album.
10th.
And yeah, we put some out. We put some independent. Thank you. We put some independent albums out in the past. One of them was called Helpless Romantic. Another one was called Comfortable Swag. Another one was called B-Sides. So for all those out there, you know, who haven't heard those records, check those out. But Waiting on You is my lead. Is my leading album right now that we just put out, and the lead single for that is Waiting on You, featuring Tank. And yeah, man, we've got some special guests on the album. We've got Alex Isley on the album. We've got Tank on the album. We've got Donnell Jones on the album, and we've got Rick Ross on the album. And
it's casually thrown in them goats. Yeah.
You know,
You know what I'm saying?
It's cool because
how you get Rose, bro? What's that?
Man,
a phone call? Like, yo,
that's crazy to get Rose on a record, because you know he wasn't doing a lot of collaborating, you know, and from what I heard around the scene, you know, he wasn't easy to get to. So it was definitely the kind of thing, like my name must have meant something to him, because he was with it.
Yeah,
he's like, pull up to the crib, you know, and so with
that big garden.
Yeah, I pulled up, man, and that was long driveway to go up.
Yeah,
like, man, that's
20 minutes later, damn, where's this house, man?
You know, so
yeah,
but like so cool of a guy, man, and just like, you know, I was able to tell him my idea, and you know, show him the beat, and like basically like let him know, like, I want to be on some yacht boy type shit. You know what I mean? Like this is for Saint-Tropez. This we're going to the Azure Islands with this one, you know. Like, this is like exotic record for us. So don't expect it to be like this grimy beat or whatever, like that kind of thing. So he's like, boy, I feel that energy. And I was like, I love your record, Santorini, Greece. I was like, I love that video. I just love the visual behind that. So like when you're thinking of the lyrics, like think of Santorini, Greece.
Right.
And he's like, okay, man, that sounds dope. It's gonna be big, you know. And I left him to it. And then he sent me 2 weeks later, he sent me the file, and it was like, Hills to the Hood is the name of the record. And the song's about basically being good with my woman, like wherever we are. Like it don't matter if we're in the hills, at the big mansion party, you know, or if we're in the hood at bro's barbershop in Compton, you know what I'm saying, on Compton Boulevard, getting a freshen up, you know, it's really, I'm in a good place in my life where I want to celebrate her.
You love that.
And, you know, Hills to the Hood was a way to celebrate her. And she knows what it is, you know, but I want people to know what it is. So it's more or less like talking about my life in a cool way.
Right.
And having Ross back me up. It's
not too bad. Is this an independent album?
Yes.
How has that changed for you? Independent to, you know, having...
Independence it's all on your dime, you know, and it kind of always was,
you
know, in terms of like, you know, artists have to recoup everything that they, you know, that they spend. So even back in the Sony days, it was still all me. But you know, but I think the difference is like you really have to think about your livelihood with this stuff. I mean, we still got to live regular lives, and at the same time, you know, we have 2 kids and all that. So it's like to be a record label, you know, a touring artist. It's virtually up to us to
and the PR and every
so doing every video, every piece of band equipment is rented out. You know, so it's like it's literally like it's fine. It comes down to financial, what your ability is.
But is it better for you this way because you're in complete charge?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that statement. Just because this is an opportunity to do whatever it is that you really want to do. Now, whether it's successful or not is really, you know, that's the kind of like what has to be told.
Are you kind of bothered about that though? Because you're certified anyway. Like we got to put some
I
respect
do it
on
for
your
different
name.
reasons.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, are you really chasing that now? Because
Not really.
it would have paid. You've been there, done it. Like,
Not really. Not when the Weeknd's sampling my record.
That's what I'm
I kinda
saying.
get
That's
on his
exactly.
album anyway. It's like it's kind of cool to be on like I said, to be a fly on the wall is something great. And however I fit in, it's cool. Like I know that the labels are here to make their point heard. You know what I mean? And they're gonna do that through the the financial ability that they have to like not have a ceiling to whatever they do. We actually have a ceiling.
Right.
There's limits.
Yeah.
So we kind of got to do the grassroots elements, and take advantage of the things that are at our disposal, venues, everything from venue size to going places on the map that certain artists don't want to go to, that I will go to because I really don't want to
You're in the
lose my
ghetto
fans.
right now, bro.
All
Believe
right,
that,
let's
bro.
go, man.
You get me?
Let's
Man,
go,
it's
man.
open.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no stranger to these
No, it's
parts,
good.
and I want to keep it that way because I feel like if people know the difference between an artist who's accessible like myself, who wants to be with his fans, who wants to be amongst the real culture, the real people that live and breathe the music,
Yeah.
that's what they get when they deal with me. With other artists, they might be a little different, but I'm from the soil, man.
I love that.
So, yeah.
I read somewhere you worked on a Michael Jackson remix.
Yeah.
I have to talk about that. How the hell can I not?
Yeah.
How did that happen, bro?
Michael and I were managed by the same manager at one point. Babyface saw fit to take me to, Tracy Edmonds and Babyface saw fit to take me to Sandy Gallon and Maury at the time, and they managed Michael Jackson. So it was like asking to be on the remix they actually asked me if I would remix the song, and I never forget the day that I was asked to remix the song because it's like, why? Like, why did you want me? And they were like, well, he thought it was a good idea, so he did. So it's like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, Frankie Knuckles, and me, the only ones that were asked to do the remix.
Yeah.
And so I did my best, doing a remix of it. I don't know how good it came out, especially now listening back. I'm like,
Yeah.
But it's still my efforts, and I was new to the remix thing, so I wasn't like trying to change the song completely, but I wanted to sound like I put my thing on it. So yeah, I did my thing, and the coolest part about it was after I finished doing it and sent it to him, he heard it and he called me in the studio.
Oh,
and
wow.
Michael called me and said, I love it. It's nice. It's different. It's good. And I was like, thank you so much for calling, just to say that. Meant the most to me. And then we actually had the chance of meeting each other at the Brit Awards. I came to a Brit Awards and I believe it was 95. That was an interesting night too.
What happened? What happened, bro?
Michael got thrown off the stage by Gavin Ross. I believe it was one of the guys from.
Oh, who came on the stage and
you
did?
Remember?
Yeah, the Pulp Fiction dude.
Yeah.
No, not Pulp. What's it
Pulp.
called? Pulp.
Pulp,
It was
yeah.
Pulp, wasn't it? Pulp.
Yeah, I forget what his name is.
Yeah.
but-
He come on the stage and did the whole
Yeah,
that night.
I was there.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched that all happen.
Right.
So, that was interesting.
Yeah.
And to kind of see him beforehand and shake his hand and see how nervous he was.
Yeah.
Because he was super nervous. He's like, I don't have time for this right now. And then Jim Morey was like, this is Jon B, the one who remixed your single. You have time to say hello. And he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Hi, how are you? We shook each other's hands and took a picture or whatnot. So he's taller than I expected.
Yeah.
Michael was tall.
What did you think of the film? What
Well,
was it
being
like?
that I met the man and then I've kind of like been a little closer to Michael than most people, I think it's cool for the kids
Okay.
and to remember him in that way. But just it was so different than what actually happens.
Right.
Like what actually happened.
But that's Hollywood for you, right?
Yeah, it's if you want the cool generic Hollywood version of what happened and you leave some primary points out, then yeah, I wasn't a fan of the film.
You wasn't a fan of it. We are pressed for time. Have I got 10 minutes or are we done? We wrap up. All right. I have this segment where I get AI to ask you questions, but apparently we have run out of time, sir.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But I would like to say thank you so much for your time. It's been amazing, an absolute pleasure, an icon.
Pleasure
We've got to
was
put some respect on your name, man.
Man,
I
thank
wish
you,
I had
brother.
more time, man.
Thank you, my
Listen,
guy.
you're welcome back anytime. Best of luck on
Definitely
your
come back.
shows.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? And
All the best with what you're doing here, bro.
thank you, sir. We're
Yeah,
trying
man.
our best, man. That's
brother.
Jon B, man. We out. Peace.
Well, love.
Is Shizzio show finished?